Fame, power, applause. Most people chase it. But what happens when you have it all and you walk away? Today, we reveal the true stories of 10 stars who turned their backs on fame and chose a life of silence, simplicity, and peace. This isn't fiction. These are real people who made shocking choices. Rick Moranis, the comedy legend who vanished. Rick Moranis, born on April 18, 1953, became a beloved face of comedy in the 1980s with hits like Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Spaceballs. He had a gift for making audiences laugh with his nerdy charm and perfectly timed wit. Rick's career soared during this golden age of Hollywood comedy, and he quickly earned a place among the top comedic actors of his time. But in 1991, tragedy struck when his wife passed away from cancer, leaving him as a single father to raise their children. At the height of his success, Rick made an unthinkable decision. He stepped away from Hollywood to focus entirely on his family. By 1997, he had almost completely disappeared from public life. He never made a big announcement. He just quietly walked away. His absence sparked countless rumors, but the truth was simple. He chose love over fame. Over the years, fans kept hoping for a comeback, but Rick remained elusive. Though he made a brief voice cameo in a 2006 project and appeared in a commercial in 2020, he never returned to acting full-time. To this day, he lives a quiet life, far from the lights of Hollywood, reminding us that sometimes the most powerful decisions are made off stage. Cameron Diaz, Hollywood's golden girl, who chose peace. Born on August 30, 1972, Cameron Diaz skyrocketed to fame with her debut in The Mask, 1994, and later became a household name with hits like There's Something About Mary, Charlie's Angels, and Shrek. Her wide smile, charisma, and acting talent made her one of the highest-paid actresses in the world. She received numerous accolades, including 4 Golden Globe nominations. But despite the glitz and glamour, Cameron felt something was missing. In 2014, after her last film Annie, she walked away from acting without much fanfare. She later revealed that the demands of fame had taken a toll on her well-being. She wanted to reclaim her life, her time, and her relationships. Cameron embraced a more private lifestyle, focusing on her family, health, and launching a wellness brand. Married to musician Benji Madden, she became a mother and found contentment in ordinary joys. Her departure from Hollywood wasn't due to scandal or failure. It was a conscious choice to prioritize peace over pressure. Fans still remember her glow, but now she shines in a different, quieter way. Jack Gleason, the villain everyone hated, then disappeared. Jack Gleason, born May 20, 1992, gained global recognition for his chilling portrayal of King Joffrey in Game of Thrones. His performance was so convincing that audiences genuinely despised the character, a true mark of brilliance. But what many didn't realize was that Jack was never in it for the fame. Despite the global success of the show, he felt disconnected from the spotlight. In 2014, shortly after his character's dramatic exit, he quietly stepped away from the industry. Jack later explained that the attention and pressure made acting feel more like an obligation than a joy. Instead, he returned to university in Dublin, pursuing philosophy and theology, away from cameras and chaos. He co-founded a small theater group focused on experimental art, rather than profit. Jack has consistently turned down high-profile roles, preferring creativity over celebrity. Despite offers and fan requests, he's remained committed to his private life. Today, he lives far from the glitter of Hollywood, embracing intellectual growth and simplicity. His story is a rare example of someone who conquered fame and then walked away from it by choice. 4. Mara Wilson, the child star who chose herself. Mara Wilson, born July 24, 1987, was the face of childhood for many growing up in the 90s, with roles in Miss Doubtfire, Miracle on 34th Street, and the beloved Matilda. She seemed destined for lifelong fame, but behind the scenes, Mara struggled with the pressures of being a child star. Her mother's death during the filming of Matilda left a deep emotional impact, making the magic of acting fade. As she grew older, Hollywood felt less like a dream, and more like a burden. By her teenage years, she quietly stepped away from acting and turned to a life of introspection. Mara pursued writing and became an accomplished author, publishing a memoir titled Where Am I Now? She also became a passionate mental health advocate, opening up about anxiety, grief, and identity. Though she occasionally lends her voice to animation, she avoids live-action roles, finding them emotionally draining. Despite being offered roles over the years, she's remained firm in her decision, valuing peace over popularity. Her choice wasn't driven by controversy, but by courage and healing. In a world obsessed with fame, Mara's journey stands as a rare story of self-preservation and quiet bravery. Gene Hackman, the icon who vanished without a goodbye. Gene Hackman, born January 30, 1930, was one of Hollywood's most respected actors. With a career spanning over 4 decades, he starred in timeless films like The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Known for his commanding voice and complex roles, Hackman won 2 Academy Awards and left an indelible mark on cinema. Surprisingly, in 2004 he stepped away from acting without fanfare, leaving fans and critics in shock. He later revealed that concerns about his health and a yearning for peace led to his quiet exit. Choosing solitude over stardom, he embraced a new chapter as a novelist and published several successful books. Hackman, a former U.S. Marine, always carried a sense of discipline and humility. He never craved attention, often calling Hollywood too noisy for his soul. Despite 5 Oscar nominations and multiple BAFTA and Golden Globe wins, he remained grounded and private. Today, in his 90s, he enjoys a peaceful life in New Mexico, rarely making public appearances. His absence only deepens the mystery surrounding his decision to leave the spotlight. Hackman's story is not of decline, but of strength, silence, and a graceful goodbye. Phoebe Kates, the dream girl who disappeared. Born July 16, 1963, Phoebe Kates stole hearts in the 80s with roles in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Gremlins. Her beauty, grace, and natural screen presence made her an unforgettable face of the decade. But in 1994, at just 31, she quietly stepped away from the limelight. After marrying Oscar-winning actor Kevin Kline, she chose to focus on building a stable and grounded family life. The couple settled in New York, where Phoebe devoted herself to raising their children away from the glare of Hollywood. She opened a boutique named Blue Tree, which became a reflection of her personal style and value. Despite her massive popularity, she never expressed regret about leaving the industry. In 2001 she returned briefly for a voice role but declined all further major projects. Phoebe's decision wasn't rooted in scandal or burnout. It was simply her desire for a life lived on her own terms. Fans often wonder what more she could have achieved, but she never chased more than happiness. Today she remains a symbol of natural stardom, someone who walked away at the peak and never looked back. 7. Bridget Fonda, the action star who vanished without explanation. Bridget Fonda, born January 27, 1964, came from Hollywood royalty, the granddaughter of Henry Fonda and daughter of Peter Fonda. Yet she carved out her own path with iconic roles in Jackie Brown, Point of No Return, and Single White Female. With a Golden Globe nomination under her belt and a reputation for playing fierce, complex women, Bridget seemed destined for even greater stardom. But in 2002, following a serious car accident that left her with lingering injuries, her life took a sharp turn. That same year she married acclaimed composer Danny Elfman, and soon after she quietly stepped away from Hollywood. No press release, no farewell performance, just silent. For 2 decades, she remained absent from public life, and when paparazzi captured rare images of her in recent years, the internet erupted in shock. It wasn't judgment, it was awe at how completely she had vanished. Bridget has never explained her departure, and perhaps that's the point. She owes no one an explanation. She chose motherhood, privacy, and a life far from flashing cameras. Her story lingers like a whisper, a reminder that even in Hollywood, peace is sometimes the ultimate prize. Taylor Momson, from Gossip Girl to rock and roll. Taylor Momson, born July 26, 1993, began her career as a child model at just 2 years old.
Why can't I find you? Why have you gone away?
catapulted her into mainstream fame. Despite the glitz and spotlight, Taylor often felt stifled and misunderstood in Hollywood. By 2011, at the height of the show's popularity, she walked away from acting entirely, citing burnout and a desire to find her true voice. She dove headfirst into music, forming the hard rock band The Pretty Reckless, where she embraced a grittier, rawer version of herself. Her dramatic transformation from sweet TV star to black-clad rock frontwoman left fans stunned, yet through haunting lyrics and powerful vocals, she proved she wasn't running from something but towards something real. Her music found a passionate fan base, and her band toured globally, topping Billboard's rock charts. In interviews, Taylor has spoken candidly about the emotional toll of fame, and how music became her salvation. Her departure from Hollywood wasn't rebellion, it was rebirth. Today she stands not as an actress lost, but as an artist found. 9. Peter Astramm, from chocolate factory to veterinary clinic. Peter Astramm, born November 1, 1957, played Charlie Bucket in the 1971 classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. At just 12 years old, he stepped into cinematic history, charming audiences with his sincerity and warmth. With such a powerful debut, many assumed he would become a household name, but when the cameras stopped rolling, Peter quietly walked away from the limelight. Despite offers for more roles, he declined, saying he wanted a normal childhood. Over time, his passion for animals led him down a very different path: veterinary medicine. He earned his Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree and settled in rural New York, far from Hollywood's His patients now have 4 legs, and his audience is a community that values his care. Occasionally he gives talks about his film experience, but never with regret. Peter's life choice remains one of the most fascinating in Hollywood, a child star who tasted fame and turned away. His story is not about loss, but preservation of self, of purpose, of simplicity. In an industry known for consuming innocence, Peter Astramm remains untouched, a gentle echo of a sweeter time. Greta Garbo, the original mystery. Greta Garbo, born September 18, 1905, was one of the most iconic actresses of the silent and early sound era, with unforgettable performances in Anna Karenina, Camille and Grand Hotel. She captivated audiences with her haunting beauty and intense presence. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards, and later honored with an honorary Oscar, her success seemed unstoppable. But in 1941, at just 36, she vanished from Hollywood without a word. She never gave interviews, never attended premieres, and never explained her departure. Paparazzi glimpses of her walking alone in Manhattan fueled endless speculation. She never married, never returned to acting, and never sought the spotlight again. Living in a modest New York apartment, she embraced solitude and turned to art collecting and quiet travel. Friends described her as private but content, a woman who knew exactly what she wanted. Greta's life became a legend wrapped in silence. Her story is not just one of disappearance, but of a woman who reclaimed her life from fame's grasp. In leaving at the height of her power, Garbo sealed her place in history as the eternal enigma, a star who vanished, yet never faded. Each of these stories carries the weight of a decision, to leave behind lights, cameras and applause, in favor of something quieter, something real. In doing so, they've become more than stars. They've become legends of mystery and courage. These stars had the world in their hands, but they chose peace over popularity. In walking away, they found something more powerful than fame, themselves. Which story moved you the most? Would you give up the spotlight for a simple life? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more true stories from the world of fame, hit subscribe.